Books are my passion. I love to read. So many of our viewers ask us, though, how do I get that time in? Neil Pasricha is with us right now. The incredible author of The Happiness Equation to talk about this, because you are not only a lifestyle guru, you are also a huge reader. You come out with your own reading list every month. I read it every month.
Yep.
But you are getting through a lot of books in a month. How do you do that?
Well, I didn't used to be that way. You know, I was like everyone for a number of years. I'd read 3, 4, maybe 5 books a year, Tracy. Like, I'm going on vacation, got to go to the library or the bookstore, maybe pick 1 or 2 up. I'd leave something collecting dust on my bedside table. It was just last year, I dramatically increased the number of books I read to 50 in a year. And this year, I'm on pace for 100. And you know what? The thing is, I know it sounds like a lot, but I've actually just made a few simple changes in my life in order to dramatically increase my reading rate. And the key thing is, I am a slow reader.
Are you?
Yeah, I don't read fast. None of my tips are going to be about speed reading, but I've got 3 things for you today that I think can help anyone who wants to read a lot more books. I feel like, honestly, Tracy, it's the lead domino to being a better dad, being a better husband, being a better writer, more creative. It's helping everything else in my life. I'm actually sorry I didn't start reading more sooner, but when you do these 3 simple things, you'll find that it's pretty easy for anyone to read more books.
100 books a year, so that's about 2 a week?
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, there's only 7 days in a week.
I know.
I'm reading about 1 a week, and I read fast.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, that's fantastic. And you know what? Here's the thing.
But 2 a week?
Well, let me ask you a question. When you walk into your home, where's your bookshelf?
There are books everywhere in my house.
Okay, well, that's a good thing.
Everywhere. You walk in, they're there on the rad cover. You walk in the living room, they're there on the shelf. They're on the side table in my bedroom. They're all over the place.
That's fantastic.
They're in the kitchen. They're everywhere.
That's good, because you know what? Professor Roy Baumeister did an incredible study. I call it the chocolate chip and radish experiment. He held 2 groups of people in private rooms, where in one room they had a plate of chocolate chips in front of them, chocolate chip cookies, and he said for 3 hours, you can't touch those chocolate chip cookies.
That's so mean.
In another room, he had them in front of a plate of radishes, and he said you can't touch those radishes.
No problem.
Exactly. Then he brought them into a room, used the favorite psychologist game of having them do an impossible puzzle, and saw how long it took them to give up. The people that were in the room with the chocolate chip cookies, as you can imagine, gave up very quickly. They had used all their willpower to spend 3 hours avoiding the chocolate chip cookies. The radish folks went on longer. So think of what the temptations are in your home against reading. For me, am I on my cell phone, or am I plugging in? You know, we've talked about this before. Where do you plug in your cell phone? What are the distractions in your day? For us, what my wife Leslie and I did is we installed a bookshelf at our front door last year. I mean, actually installed it right there on the wall. I walk by it 12 times a day now. It's the chocolate chip cookie. I'm tempted to pick something up. I'm tempted to drop something off. And we've moved every other stimulation from our front area into our basement or another part of the home. So the first rule on reading more is simply, as you're doing, centralize it in your home. Make it something that is hard to resist, so that you're always picking something off and on.
I love that advice. Make it easy on yourself. Okay, so you've centralized it.
Centralized it.
What do you do for finding the time?
Well, before we get to time, I'll tell you what you need to do. Make a public commitment.
Okay.
You mentioned earlier that I have a reading list. So every month I have to, because I made it a rule for myself, tell everyone what books I read. That pressures me to read a little bit more. There's 2 real simple ways anybody can do that. Number 1, they go to goodreads.com, you sign up for an account, and you post anytime you've read a book. Or you download a great app called Reco, R-E-C-O. I use it. You can follow me on there. And if I read a book, I post about it. Because I follow other people and they follow me, I have the public pressure of revealing and releasing what I read. It adds a little bit more ammo to my reading rate, because I'm like, I got to tell people when I'm done.
It's holding yourself accountable, but then I also feel like, doesn't that make it a chore? Does that make it a bit of a chore?
Well, you know what it does? It does feel a little bit like work, but you know what? You know what I think of when I think of that? I think reading is an education. It is an education. So I think, okay, I don't have to read. If it's going to be some thick business book, I'm going to put that in the back burner and read a graphic novel. But it's books that count, not what you read. You can read across genre. It could be kids' books. You know, I put kids' books in my reading list.
You do, and I love that.
Yeah, sometimes they take me 7 minutes to read. It's a book. It's a book.
It doesn't matter. It's a book.
It counts.
I agree. I mean, my kids, they go to the bookstore or the library, you can pick out anything you want. It's a book. The point is that you're reading and it's literature, and that's good. Okay, so make a public commitment.
Yep. And you asked me about time.
And I want to, I want to first say, when you are posting about a book, this doesn't have to be a big long essay.
No.
Because that's going to make people, you know, not want to do it at all.
No.
Posting about
You're
a book
hinting
can be
about my
like,
email list, aren't
no,
you?
no, I like yours. They're succinct, so they're short. They give you just enough so that you know this is for me or this is not for me. Forget it.
Yeah.
So if you're posting about a book, it can literally be 2 or 3 sentences.
Exactly.
It's fine.
And even on Goodreads, all I really do is say started, finished.
That's it.
That's it. I just say started and finished.
Even better.
And you know what? You could just invite a few coworkers, your family, your immediate family.
Yes.
Just invite your mom, dad, and sister into it. The 4 of you trade, and then suddenly everyone can share what they're reading in a really simple way.
I love that. Okay, finally, reapply the 10,000 steps rule.
This
what does
comes
that
back
mean?
to your question from a minute ago.
Yes.
Where do you find the time? We're all talking about wearing these Fitbit things on our wrists, and if you add up to 10,000 steps, you know what? That gets you your daily exercise, right?
Yeah.
And I can park at the back of the lot. I can just make sure I take the stairs instead of the elevator. Think of reading like that. I, in my backpack, always have one fiction and one nonfiction book with me at all times.
Okay.
Sometimes if I feel like chewing something tough, I pick up the nonfiction book. If I want to let my mind relax at the back of the bus or on the subway, I pick up the fiction. But I apply the 10,000 steps rule. Think of it like, where in my day am I in a lineup at the bank? Am I in the back of a car? Am I going somewhere? Am I traveling? Can I apply little bits and pieces of my book? And for some people, that means doing it in audio format.
Oh, that's
Right?
right.
Yeah.
And those are huge right now.
Exactly. So you just
Okay.
do like a few pages on your audio device and you just keep moving.